Have you ever felt a sting from a casual comment that seemed harmless to everyone else? But for you, it landed with the weight of a stone? Like when a friend jokes about your outfit, and suddenly you're replaying every insecurity from your past? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And what if I told you that getting offended so easily is not a flaw in your character, but a whisper from ancient wounds buried deep inside? Stick around, because in this video, we're uncovering the 5 hidden emotional scars that make us hypersensitive, drawing from insights in psychoanalysis to help you understand and heal them. By the end, you'll see these triggers not as weaknesses, but as signals guiding you toward greater self-awareness. You know, it's easy to label ourselves as too sensitive in those moments. But what if we looked deeper? Thinkers in psychoanalysis, like Freud and Klein, remind us that our reactions today are often the echoes of unresolved pains from long ago. Imagine your mind as an old attic, filled with dusty boxes of forgotten memories. Some of those boxes hold wounds that never fully healed, and a simple word or gesture can knock them open. This isn't about blaming your past. It's about recognizing patterns so you can break free. We'll explore 5 ancient wounds that might be fueling your quick-to-offend nature, each one rooted in early experiences that shape how we perceive the world. And remember, understanding these isn't just intellectual. It's the first step to reclaiming your emotional peace. Let's dive deeper into why these wounds linger like uninvited guests at a party you thought was over. Think about how a single remark can transport you back to a vulnerable moment, making the present feel overwhelmingly personal. Psychoanalysis teaches us that these aren't random. They're echoes from our subconscious, often tied to what Freud called the unconscious mind, where buried emotions simmer until triggered. I've seen this in countless stories from friends and even in my own reflections. It's like your brain is a time machine, zipping you back without warning. As we unpack these, you'll start spotting them in your daily life, turning confusion into clarity. The echo of childhood rejection. Picture this. As a kid, maybe you felt overlooked in a busy family, or perhaps a teacher's offhand remark made you question your worth. In psychoanalysis, this ties back to what Melanie Klein called the depressive position, where early rejections plant seeds of doubt that grow into adult hypersensitivity, making every slight feel like a profound dismissal. You might find yourself overreacting to criticism at work, hearing it as a total rejection of who you are, because it echoes that old fear of not being enough. It's like an old radio static that suddenly blasts at full volume. I've noticed in my own life how a simple no from a colleague once spiraled me into self-doubt, replaying childhood scenes where I felt invisible among siblings, always the last picked for games. To add depth, let's consider how this wound shows up in relationships. Say, when a partner cancels plans, and it feels like the end of the world, not just a scheduling hiccup. Klein's theories suggest these reactions stem from unmet needs for acceptance, creating a lens where neutral events look like threats. I remember a time when a friend's casual decline of an invitation hit me hard, linking back to feeling sidelined at family dinners. It was like my inner child was screaming for attention. Practically, start by journaling those trigger moments. Grab a notebook or use a journaling app to note what was said, what old memory it stirred, and how your body reacted. Over time, this builds awareness, helping you pause and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting on autopilot. And here's where it gets empowering. By facing this echo, you're not just healing, you're rewriting your story. Imagine turning that old rejection into a superpower of empathy. After all, who better understands others' pains than someone who's felt them deeply? For example, try reading The Drama of the Gifted Child by Alice Miller. It's a profound book that unpacks these early wounds with real-life examples, making you feel seen. In my journey, incorporating short affirmations like "I am enough as I am" during morning routines shifted my perspective, softening those echoes into manageable whispers. As you explore this, you might notice how it intertwines with the need for flawless armor. In a world that demands perfection, the armor of perfectionism. This one stems from environments where love or approval was conditional. Think parents who praised only straight A's or peers who valued you for your achievements alone, building an invisible shield that's exhausting to maintain. Freud talked about the superego, that inner critic enforcing impossible standards. And when someone points out a flaw, it shatters the armor you've built to protect yourself from feeling unworthy. Suddenly, a friend's teasing about your messy desk feels like an attack on your entire identity, as if one crack exposes everything. I recall pushing myself to exhaustion in a past project, only to crumble at minor feedback, realizing it mirrored my fear of imperfection from school days, where report cards defined my value. Diving deeper, this wound often leads to burnout, because you're constantly battling an internal judge that's harsher than any external critic. It's like wearing a suit of armor that's too heavy, pinching every time life gets real. Freud's insights show how this superego forms from early authority figures, turning self-criticism into a habit that amplifies offenses. There was a phase in my life where I'd redo tasks endlessly, and a colleague's suggestion felt like failure. It traced back to parental expectations that linked love to performance. To heal this, try small acts of self-compassion, like setting realistic goals and celebrating progress. Perhaps use a habit tracking app to gamify your wins without judgment, turning chores into rewarding quests. Let's make it practical with an analogy. Think of your perfectionism as a fortress wall, strong but isolating. Start dismantling it by practicing good enough in low-stakes areas, like cooking a simple meal without recipes or reading The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown for inspiring stories on embracing flaws. In my experience, sharing vulnerabilities in a trusted group like a book club helped me laugh off minor slip-ups. Hey, who hasn't burned toast while aiming for gourmet? This softening opens doors to deeper connections, but it also reveals shadows from past betrayals that lurk just beneath. As we peel back these layers, you might start seeing connections in your own life, like how perfectionism shields against deeper fears. And if this journey of understanding is resonating with you, consider subscribing and joining our community. It is a simple way to ensure you never miss a guidepost as we continue to turn self-doubt into self-discovery together. The shadow of betrayal. This often traces back to broken trusts in formative years, maybe a close friend who shared your secrets, or a family member who let you down when you needed them, leaving a lingering distrust that colors everything. Psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott described the false self we create to shield against such pains, but it leaves us vigilant, interpreting neutral comments as potential betrayals like a radar always scanning for threats. For instance, if a partner forgets a small detail, it might explode into accusations because it revives that shadow of past hurts, turning molehills into mountains. There was a time when a minor misunderstanding with a loved one sent me into a defensive spiral, only to realize it was echoing an old betrayal from adolescence, where a best friend ghosted me. To explore further, Winnicott's theory highlights how this false self protects, but also isolates, making offenses feel like confirmations of a cruel world. It's like living in a house with creaky floors, jumping at every sound. This is a pattern often explored in therapeutic settings, where unpacking a single betrayal can reveal patterns across all of one's relationships. Practically, build trust slowly. Practice open communication exercises, like sharing one vulnerable thought a day with someone safe. Try the rose-thorn-bud method from positive psychology, where you discuss a high, low, and hope. This rewires your brain to expect reliability over deceit, fostering genuine bonds. Imagine betrayal as a dark cloud that follows you, but with awareness you can part it like sunlight. Books like Daring Greatly by Brené Brown offer analogies and exercises to rebuild trust. In my own story, forgiving a past hurt through guided meditation, free sessions on meditation apps, turned suspicion into openness with a touch of humor. I even joked about my trust issues in conversations to lighten the load. As this shadow lifts, it often uncovers the heavy weight of expectations that were never met, pulling us into the next layer. The weight of unmet expectations, rooted in dreams that didn't pan out, like hoping for a nurturing home but facing chaos. This wound makes us hypersensitive to disappointments, as if life's script keeps deviating from our ideal plot. Klein's object relations theory suggests we internalize these unmet needs, projecting them onto others. So a delayed response from a friend feels like abandonment, amplifying the offense. It's like carrying an invisible backpack of what should have been, making every letdown heavier and more personal. I remember expecting a milestone celebration that fell flat, triggering outsized anger that linked back to childhood letdowns, like promised outings that never happened. Delving in, this wound thrives on comparison. Social media doesn't help, showing everyone's perfect life while yours feels lacking, turning minor slights into evidence of unfairness. Klein explains how we form internal objects based on early caregivers, expecting the world to fill those gaps. In my experience, a promotion that didn't come through echoed unmet family promises, spiraling into resentment. To lighten this load, set micro expectations. Instead of demanding perfection, focus on gratitude journaling. Use a journaling app to note 3 positives daily, shifting focus from what's missing to what's present, like appreciating a quiet coffee moment. Think of it as recalibrating your inner GPS, away from rigid paths toward flexible routes. Reading Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl provides powerful analogies from real hardships, showing how reframing expectations builds resilience. I've used this by planning no expectation days, where I let events unfold, and surprisingly, it reduced offenses, almost comically, like expecting traffic and finding none. This freedom from weight leads naturally to questioning our grip on control, which might be the most eye-opening wound yet, the illusion of control. This one arises from chaotic early environments where unpredictability reigned, leading us to cling to control as a defense, like gripping the steering wheel in a storm. Freud's ideas on defense mechanisms highlight how we overreact to perceived threats to our order, making a coworker's differing opinion feel like chaos invading your world, escalating into offense. It turns minor disruptions into battles because losing control echoes past helplessness, where nothing felt secure. In reflecting on my experiences, a disrupted routine once offended me deeply, revealing it as a mask for deeper fears from unstable times, like frequent moves in childhood. Expanding on Freud, these mechanisms are like emergency brakes we pull too often, wearing us out. It's why a planned change can feel catastrophic, linking back to times when control was our only anchor. I once micromanaged a group trip, offended by suggestions, only to see it stemmed from early family instability. Healing starts with mindfulness practices. Try a 5-minute breathing exercise via a meditation app, accepting that not everything is controllable, which frees you from constant vigilance and invites peace. Analogize it to sailing. You can't command the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Books like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle offer meditations to release this illusion. In my path, incorporating yoga, free online classes, helped me chuckle at my control freak moments, turning them into growth. We've journeyed through these 5 ancient wounds, from rejection's echo to the illusion of control, and seen how they whisper from the past, shaping our present reactions. Remember, getting offended easily isn't a curse, it's a call to heal, turning sensitivity into strength. Your emotional world is like a garden. These wounds are weeds, but with awareness you can cultivate resilience. If any of this struck a chord, share in the comments. Which wound resonates most with you, and how has it shown up in your life? Your story could light the way for someone else. Check out that next video appearing on screen. It might just be the insight you've been waiting for. Thanks for watching, and take care of your inner compass. After all, this journey of understanding is how we find the way back to ourselves.